Again, my name is Sid Haas. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at LKCS, and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar on how your marketing can benefit from Google, Amazon, and Facebook. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun and share some information that can benefit your financial institutions. So we'll go ahead and move on. For those of you that aren't familiar with LKCS, we've been working with financial institutions since 1961 and provide a wide variety of marketing services, both in traditional and obviously the digital arena. My one slide about the company just shares some of the services that we offer, but we'll be covering, a wide array of solutions today, and just how these, Google, Amazon, and Facebook in particular have influenced marketing efforts across these different channels. But I want to start with pizza. For those of you that know me, you probably know that there's not a pizza that I've met that I don't love. But in particular, I want to talk about Domino's pizza. I haven't had, admittedly, a Domino's pizza since my college days, which was more than a few years ago. But back in 2008, Domino's pizza was terrible, and they admitted it. They had a focus group back in 2008. And some of the quotes out of that focus group was, "It was the worst pizza I ever had. The sauce tastes like ketchup. The crust tastes like cardboard." And their share price was at a record low of $2.83. And Domino's is not a small pizza chain, right? They're second only to Pizza Hut in size of the number of stores or locations that they have. This is a large company that we're talking about. In 2010, they launched an entirely new pizza, or new brand, really. They had hired a new CEO by the name of Patrick Doyle, launched a new marketing campaign, and the company really developed a personality, 10 years ago. And really, their brand was established around a big slice of technology. And Patrick Doyle, his chief marketing officer, their chief technology officer, they've all been quoted as saying things like, "We are as much a technology company as we are a pizza company," which is a pretty bold statement for a company like Domino's Pizza to say. But if you look at it, 60% of their orders are placed digitally through their app, their website, Amazon Echoes, Facebook, Apple TV, etc. And when you look at their advertising, even today, they rarely talk about their pizza or the taste of their pizza or the ingredients of their pizza. They talk about their technology, things like their order tracking and their 3D pizza building and their smartwatch ordering and their order by emoji. Those types of things are what they talk about in their advertising. They really don't talk about their pizza. And look what it's done for their stock price. I wish I invested. Over a 10,000% increase in stock price since 2008. It's dipped a little, it went back up. Patrick Doyle has since retired. They have a different CEO. One of the best investments you could have made back in 2010 was buying Domino's Pizza. We're going to talk about Amazon, Google, and Facebook, and yet Domino's kicked them when it came to share price. A couple of takeaways for you that apply not just to Domino's Pizza, but you have to know your brand backwards and forwards, and Domino's does. Obviously, their pizza improved. Don't get me wrong. Again, I haven't tasted it, but they had to improve their pizza some, I would think. But you can leverage technology to drive your core mission. And I think that a lot of banks and credit unions understand that now. And you can collect feedback to inspire positive change. So before we dive into some of the content, and obviously I can't see your hands, but when you search the internet, how many of you typically use Google? When I do this in a room full of people, everybody's hands pretty much go up. How many of you use a different search engine? Probably not too many. How many of you have a Google account? Google accounts are used for Gmail and Google Play and Google Drive and Google Docs and AdWords and all those different Google services. The majority of you have Google accounts. Who has purchased something from Amazon this year? I would say probably everyone. How about in the last month? How about in the last week? How about today? Who has an Amazon Echo, right? An Alexa device. How many of you have a Facebook profile? Who accesses Facebook at least once per week, once per day, several times a day? These are the things that we're going to talk about today. But there's one more company I want to talk about before we really dive into those three that you don't equate with technology. And that's the good old United States Postal Service. Because it's another company that's really been changing with technology. So what is your impression of the USPS? Probably one of these three, right? We all think of snail mail. Not the best term, right? Not the most positive term. Well, yeah, they lost $4 billion last year. Not the most endearing thing, probably, and mainly related to their pension benefits. Not unlike the state of Illinois that we're from. And first-class mail volume keeps declining, which certainly isn't helping their revenue situation. That mail volume continues to decrease. But let's realize that businesses would be in real trouble without them. Nobody else is going to deliver the mail if the USPS closed their doors. And wake up, because they really are implementing awesome technology for marketers. I'll show you some of it here in a second. In Generation Z, we all want younger customers and members, loves receiving mail. It's been a well-kept secret that some of you have been figuring out. But Gen Z, that generation of people that we really want to reach, loves receiving direct mail. And we all get way too much email. Email has become the new junk mail. Our email boxes are chock full every day of junk, right? Spam filters are doing a good job of getting rid of some of it. But how many of us come in every morning and just hit delete, 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 and just try to get to the meat and bones of what we actually have to read? We're sorting through and getting rid of all the junk, just like we used to do with our mailboxes. And when we go to our physical mailboxes, there's 2 or 3 pieces of mail sitting there and some bills. So some of the technology that we're talking about here are enabled by things like the intelligent mail barcode. So we pay no attention to the barcode that's printed on our mail pieces, but this barcode actually tracks mail delivery to every single individual household, every mailbox. And you can leverage that barcode to prepare your staff or your call center for those direct mail inquiries. You're going to know exactly when these mail pieces are due to be delivered in advance if you use that mail barcode. You can coordinate email follow-up, you can coordinate phone call follow-up, and you can coordinate all your online ads, all those different follow-up efforts by tracking that mail barcode delivery. And you can do it by dashboards and maps that look just like this, all the way to the individual household level. So you click on a little map point, and you can pull up all that information and see all of the dates where all of the different mail facilities that your mail piece traveled through. You can plot that all out so you know which regions, if you're spread out, which towns, when those mail pieces are going to hit, and coordinate that follow-up automatically. It's pretty cool technology that we don't see a lot of people using yet. Informed delivery. is another awesome USPS technology. It informs people, your members, your customers, of mail and packages that are arriving to their homes every day. And it helps actually protect them against identity theft. It's a tool that gives them notification and actually images of all of the mail pieces. You're seeing screenshots here of the actual emails and app that I use on my personal mail to show me what mail pieces are due to get to my mailbox each day. If I don't get that, I actually have a link, as you can see on the right, where I can report to the post office that I didn't receive this mail piece. There are currently 22 million people in the US signed up for informed delivery, and it's growing every day. But for marketers, you can actually include an image and link for every mail piece you send out, every mailing you send out, and those images and links get put at the top by default of the email that gets sent or of the app when it gets loaded. And these emails have an amazing email open rate, currently at 72.5%. It is blowing email open rates out of the water. We look at email open rates for most of our clients, and they're at 20, 30%, maybe 35% on a good day. And the post office is double and tripling that every single day with informed delivery. You can get your campaign at the top of their emails with a link and an image coordinating at little to no cost. The only cost is really for you to generate that image, create that image, and send it to your mail house. Very few mailers are doing this because they just don't know that they can, or the mailers don't know how to include it. It can be done. So now we'll dive into those three companies that I promised we would. Companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and yes, the USPS have changed the world. There's no doubt about it, right? They've changed your account holders' expectations, behaviors, and perceptions, and you need to change accordingly. So let's talk about Google first, right? We all know Google is the king of search. They are dominant. There's no question about it. As of January, in the US, Google has control of over 88% of the US search engine market share. And why? Because it works. We all know what to expect when we use Google. We're going to get the search results that we're looking for, or we wouldn't use it. The other search players they pale in comparison. Now, when we get to voice search, I should say that Bing is a part of that, mainly because Google and Amazon don't play well together. They're big competitors. So Amazon Alexa's devices use Bing search results. So some of this 6% is related to that, in all honesty. But there are actually many more Google Voice or the Google Voice devices because of Android phones. There are many more Google Voice devices out there than Amazon Alexa devices. And Google devices obviously use the Google search engine. But traffic means visitors, and visitors mean business. And if 88% of all traffic in your market drove on the same road, you'd purchase a billboard ad on that road. Well, guess what? 88% of search traffic is on Google. So you need to adjust your marketing budget for Google. So if you haven't already, right, you need to start looking at paid search as an option. So when we look at paid search ads, are typically based, there's two types, and we'll talk about both, but these are our search ads based on keyword searches. So this example, I did a search for fast mortgage loan approval. You can see the paid ads at the top, highlighted by the word ad or indicated by the word ad. But people will click on those ads. Some people will skip over them and go down to what we call the organic search listings. We'll talk about that as well. Google search is localized, so your search results are going to vary on location. If I do a search here for fast mortgage loan approval, my search results are obviously going to be different than your search results for fast mortgage loan approval. But I can also add location-based searches, such as this one for easy mortgage loans in Rockford. And as soon as I do that, especially on a mobile device, I'm very likely to see a listing like this called a Google 3-pack. And a Google 3-pack is basically a map listing. This is magic, right? Especially on smartphones and mobile devices. Over half of all Google searches happen on smartphones, which shouldn't surprise you because over half of your web traffic occurs on smartphones and mobile devices. And nearly a third of all Google mobile searches relate to location. People are looking for things near to them. They're putting in a city name. Anything that has some kind of location-based term, Google is going to typically respond with some kind of map-based search or a Google 3-pack in this case. This is what a 3-pack looks like. People are highly likely to click on one of these 3 listings. So how do you get into that magic 3-pack? It's all about optimizing your listings because you really want to be one of these 3. Clicking on one of those 3 typically brings you to obviously more information. If I click on one on a desktop, which I did, we'll begin to get some more insight into how these businesses got into that magic 3-pack. But we're going to actually look more in depth into this Platinum Home Mortgage listing, which was the second listing actually down lower. We'll try to figure out why Envoy Mortgage got ahead of them. But we'll look at some of this information. You can actually have an ad that shows up in the 3-pack as well, so you can choose to pay to show up in the 3-pack. It's also, obviously money talks, so Google will happily take your money and try to place you in there as well. I click in this listing, and I can see obviously there's some review stars showing for me. When I click on the listing further, I can actually see their full listing. So I can see here, obviously, that they've had 227 Google reviews. We'll talk more about how we can attract Google reviews because that's important. So this is what their full listing looks like in Google Maps or Google My Business, which is what you use to actually manage your Google Maps listing. Request a quote button. They were actually the only business in this list to have a request a quote button. Pretty neat. This is a new feature that Google has enabled. Request a quote. There's only certain businesses that are able to have a request a quote button. But I would imagine that most of you on the call are also in the mortgage business. And unfortunately, mortgage brokers and mortgage lenders are able to have a request a quote button, but banks and credit unions, if that's your category, are not. So right now, it's based on business categories. So depending on how your business, how your bank or credit union is listed in Google My Business, it depends on category. But you also have to have the Google My Business app loaded on your phone and connected to your Google My Business account. And you have to enable messaging in the Google My Business app. So it still might be worth installing the app and enabling messaging in the app, because it will not be long before Google enables these types of buttons to be added for all businesses. And I have to think there are no metrics. This is brand new, so there are no metrics out yet on how many people click on these request a quote buttons. But if I was the consumer looking for mortgages and I saw these listings and there were more than one listing and only one of these businesses had a request a quote, I would probably be likely to click on that request a quote button. There are other ways, by the way, to schedule appointments now. Same thing, you can add an appointment link if you have a way that Google can verify that through your website you can schedule an appointment. So those are all functionalities that can be built, obviously, so give me a call. We can discuss how our web team can help you build a schedule and appointment type function. But these are things that Google has enabled. Now, keep in mind that these are things that are not going to drive people necessarily to your website. They're going to drive people to actually take action directly from Google. So they're leads, and that's the important part to remember. But Google is in the business of generating clicks and things like that from their listings, not necessarily generating traffic to your websites. So you need to leverage that because your competitors are going to. Further down, you'll be able to see your name, address, and phone information, what we call NAP information. It's very important to keep that updated. We'll talk about that further. You'll see questions and answers. Now notice in the Envoy mortgage listing, they appeared above Platinum Home Mortgage. They have a lower rating as far as the stars. They have fewer reviews, but yet they appeared above Platinum. It's not an ad. If it was an ad, we'd see the word ad. So I was really perplexed, and obviously Google has all sorts of algorithms, but I was perplexed. They're literally almost next door to each other on the map. So I was perplexed as to how Envoy Mortgage got ahead of Platinum in the Google Map listings. And I think the answer comes down to this questions and answers. They actually had a recent question submitted by a visitor, through Google My Business, and they answered it. Where under the Platinum Home Mortgage listing, there are no questions and answers. I think that feature alone is what moved Envoy Mortgage ahead of Platinum Home Mortgage in this listing. There's no way to know that for sure. I'm not an expert by any stretch on Google's algorithms, but that is the only difference that I see in these listings. As you scroll down further on a business's listings, you'll see more of the reviews. You'll be able to read all of the reviews that the business has received. You can keep scrolling down. You will see information that the business provides, kind of a description. And then you'll also see updates. Now, unfortunately, Platinum Home Mortgage actually publishes updates. It's one of the things that I like about them. Unfortunately, when I took these screenshots a couple days ago, they didn't have any current updates. Google only shows updates for a few days. You can view previous updates, which I'll show you what they look like, but they only show their current updates. I think it's for up to 7 days. But when you click on the view previous updates on Google link, this is what those updates look like. They look very much like Facebook posts. We actually encourage our clients to post anything that they're posting to Facebook to also post to their Google My Business profiles. The rub to this is that Google My Business's API only allows businesses with fewer than 10 locations to do that automatically. So if you use a social media profile, a social media management tool to automatically schedule and post your social media updates, you'll only be able to do this if you have fewer than 10 locations. If you have more than 10 locations, it becomes a hassle because you have to do it manually. So that's a bummer. But it's pretty neat. And Google does reward you for publishing content to your Google My Business listings. We do it ourselves. So if you look at our Google My Business profile, our Google Maps profile, you'll actually see our content showing our posts, showing our Google My Business listing, and that's what it looks like. So they will reward you with higher positioning in the Google Maps listings and a much higher probability of getting into that Google 3-pack by publishing posts in Google My Business. Your local business listings across the web, any place your name, address, and phone number are listed, also influence your ability to get listed in that Google 3-pack, not just your Google My Business listing, because Google verifies your information across all of those local listing sites, across business directories, websites that it knows about, reputable websites, social media sites, industry listings, review sites, all of those websites contain your name, your address, your phone numbers, your hours, and Google verifies that information. And the problem is that data across all of those websites is typically 70 to 90% inaccurate. It doesn't match unless you make a concerted effort to get it to match. And that clearly affects your Google search engine ranking, your search engine ranking in general, and your ability to place in that 3-pack. So the solution to that is to subscribe to a business citation management service. We offer one. It costs $500 per location per year. There's certainly other services out there. Some are more expensive. I don't know if there's any that are less expensive, but I'd be happy to provide more information on that. But what it does is it takes all of those, it basically publishes your information out to 50 or more of those listing websites so that it gets all synchronized automatically. Search engine optimization is your way to obviously increase and improve your position in those organic search results, the non-paid search results on Google. It's a digital marketing strategy with what I say is no end, because Google changes their search algorithms actually more than once daily, over 400 times a year typically. Your goal is to be on the first page of search results for key terms. Your products and services that you offer, clearly the name, of your credit union or bank. And it's impossible to get there for everything unless you have an unlimited budget. But it's about content that you're publishing and coding, the actual back-end coding of your website. And you need to budget based on your goals and expectations. If your goal is to get there for every product and service, it's going to cost you a bundle. If your goal is to get there for, 3, 4, half a dozen products and services, it's realistic, but it's going to take work, and it's not going to happen overnight. When it comes to search engine advertising, like we looked at those Google ads, price is really based on what you're willing to pay, either per ad impression, like ad displayed, or per click, when somebody clicks on one of your ads. And we usually recommend pay-per-click advertising as opposed to that pay per thousand or pay per impression, unless your goal is just brand awareness. And it's an auction. The more you pay, the higher you appear in search results. Ad quality does matter, right? There's some, other factors that matter, but in general, the more you pay, the higher you appear in search results. Unlike those keyword-based ads, there's also display ads, which are graphical ads that display. Now, they don't display directly on Google's website itself. They display on other websites. Now, some are Google properties like YouTube and other sites that Google owns, but Google also rents small areas, spots on millions of other websites where your ads can be displayed. And you can target your ads by age, gender, interest, topics that people are searching for, even select specific websites where you want your ads to appear. And there are several different sizes of ads, that you can create for different placements and different devices. And we'll come back to these in a few minutes, but you see these ads all the time. You're very familiar with these. So You know, when you see an ad of any of these types of shapes and sizes and different things, these are the display ads that I'm talking about. And they can show up on just about any website that you visit. And the websites get fractions of pennies for displaying, you know, your ads. But retargeting, or remarketing it's also called, is, you know, a key technology that you should be aware of if you're not already. So if you've ever had what I call that pair of shoes, or whatever product you're interested in on the internet, you look at it on one website, and all of a sudden that pair of shoes starts following you around the internet. That is retargeting or remarketing, right? It was kind of invented or meant for, you know, some of the large retailers, but banks and credit unions can leverage that same technology. And as soon as someone visits your website and visits one of your product or service pages, you can start targeting them or retargeting them with ads for that same product or service. So here's how it works. Say you sent out a postcard like this one, right? It could have been a billboard, it could have been an email, but whatever it is, you send out some marketing or have some marketing that gets somebody interested in one of your products or services. And that prospect goes and visits your website. It could be your homepage, it could be a landing page, whatever it is. But as soon as they visit that, you know, that website, they read about your product and service, and then they leave, right? It happens all the time. They don't fill out a form, they don't call, they don't tell you that they're interested. You don't know who they are. You know, you might see in Google Analytics that you had a nice spike in traffic, you know, from the campaign, but, you know, you didn't get as many inquiries as you were hoping. They're gone. But this retargeting or remarketing technology enables you to display ads to them even though they're still anonymous. You still don't know who they are. But now on day 2, they start visiting their websites that they usually visit. And your ad starts showing up to them. It shows up even in social media. It shows up in different sizes, different formats, different websites, again and again, even in apps that they use, in games that they play, until they come back to your website because you keep reminding them of that message that you were sending. So some takeaways from Google is to allocate a portion of your marketing budget to Google, right? SEO and paid search are worth the investment. And I definitely recommend that you try retargeting if you haven't yet. Claim your Google My Business listings for each of your locations. Complete your profiles and publish posts and events to Google My Business. It will improve your local search visibility. It will get you into that Google 3-pack. It will get people to call and visit your locations. And get control of your local listings and make sure they are consistent. Local search is critical to your success, not just in Google, but with your digital strategy in general. I can't stress that enough. Local search is different than, you know, regular SEO, than paid search, than all of those efforts. So we'll switch gears for a second. Now we'll switch over to Amazon, and I have an awesome little video to play for you. So if you've never watched a 60 Minutes episode from July 1999, go online and Google for Nerd of the Amazon. It's a 60 Minutes episode. I'm certainly not going to play the entire episode, but I'm going to play a very short snippet of it for you. A very short little snippet of this video, because it's pretty amazing what they say.
And Wall Street isn't concerned that Amazon has never made a profit, not a dime. In fact, it lost $125 million last year. The company says it's investing for the future. Skeptics say it would have to sell every book being sold in the world today to justify its stock price.
I think my generation grew up with Sears.
And Amazon is worth 20% more than Sears is worth in market capitalization.
How do you view that phenomenon that Amazon today is worth more than Sears?
Investors are focused on the future. Amazon has growth potential that Sears doesn't.
A couple of geeks who sketched out some software could destroy Sears Roebuck.
That's the beauty of technology and the microprocessor. We've never seen anything like it.
So a couple of geeks who sketched out some software can take down Sears Roebuck. Who would have seen that coming in 1999? Obviously, I don't know if Amazon did it all by themselves, but they've taken down more than just Sears Roebuck. Right? Retail shopping has changed. There's not too many bookstores out there anymore. Not too many toy stores out there anymore. Obviously, banking in general is under a tremendous amount of pressure. Amazon's going to jump into banking, but we're not even going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of Amazon's effects on the world today. Amazon was founded in 1994, 5 years before that 60-minute episode. It was first traded publicly in 1997, and it didn't turn a profit until 2001. It still focuses on growth over income. And it's known, obviously, for its awesome customer experience, its easy-to-use online interface, and obviously its unmatched selection. And it has over 49% of the U.S. e-commerce market, which accounts for 5% of all retail spend. So when you look at brick and mortar spend combined with that, it's 5%. eBay, by the way, is second in the e-commerce market with 6.6%. So again, you compare Google and Amazon, right? Google at 88% of search. These guys are the dominant players. And when you look at where Amazon invests their money, they invest in technology. Amazon Prime, I know I'm a member and have been for I don't even know how many years, has redefined loyalty programs, right? Do you buy anything if it doesn't have 2-day shipping anymore? Amazon Web Services has redefined cloud computing. Here's an interesting stat for you. Everybody thinks Amazon makes their money in shopping. If you look at their financials, they make more money on Amazon Web Services by far than they make on all of their shopping technology and all of the revenue from shopping. So their computing services is where the money is at. And obviously Amazon Alexa has redefined voice computing. And it is all about the data. From the beginning, Amazon built their platform to use every bit of customer information. And if you watch that entire 60 Minutes episode, they talk about that. They talk about it. They use that customer information to personalize shopping offers. They use that customer information to make business decisions. And according to Deloitte, marketers plan to more than double their investment in data analytics to improve their customer experience. Amazon knew that back in 1999. Jeff Bezos knew that. He knew that's where the play was to capture that information, even though back then he didn't know what to do with it. He talked about how much volume of information he was capturing, and people thought he was crazy. Back then, it wasn't even a lot. It seemed like a lot. But can you analyze your data? Can you really analyze your data? When you look at the information that you have, can you do it? And modern business intelligence systems provide drag and drop reporting, allow you to add external data sources, combine them with the data that you have to make personalized one-to-one marketing offers and really mine those acres of diamonds. So I have some slides to just share with you that shows LKCS's solution that we call DataFlex that provides self-service dashboards. You can build these literally in minutes with your data. that provides actionable information. You don't have to be a data scientist. You don't have to be a programmer. It's all in English. It's all drag and drop, and it provides information that you can use and understand and share with other people in your institution. It's real information. It's actionable intelligence. And yeah, there's some grids and data and stuff behind it as well. So if you really want to drill down and get into the meat and, of the actual data itself, you still have it, but you'll be able to understand it, and you won't have to wait days or weeks for IT to program something specifically for you. The other thing that Amazon has brought to the forefront, which obviously we saw a little bit with Google as well, is reviews. So this is a real product, by the way, on Amazon, uranium ore. It's not even, I don't even know how, I don't understand it, but it's for real. You can go out and buy it. $39.95 and free shipping. And the reviews are hysterical, right? I purchased the product 4.47 billion years ago, and when I opened it today, it was half empty. But the fact of the matter is that these reviews have real power, because half of all shoppers say they primarily rely on reviews. And it's true. I don't really buy anything on Amazon until I read the reviews. 25% of people, and it's probably higher than that, check Amazon reviews when they're physically standing inside a retail store. A third of shoppers won't buy a product that hasn't been positively reviewed. Yet only 5 to 10% of Amazon customers actually write reviews. That's a real problem. We know that there's fake reviews out there. Amazon's obviously trying to, combat all of that. And negative reviews, by the way, aren't all bad, because if all of your reviews are 5 stars, no one believes them. So the optimal rating is actually 4.6 stars and not a 5-star review. So why does this matter to credit unions and banks? Because let's go back to Google and remember that platinum home mortgage listing. Because now 63.6% of people look to Google reviews. And review stars are shown with every one of those location-based searches. 88% of consumers trust online business reviews. 56% of consumers will click on links in that Google 3-pack because of a positive star rating. Listings with 1 or 2 stars generate less clicks than ratings with no stars. So you shouldn't have that problem. Reviews are getting more positive. So that's always the fear is, oh my gosh, we're going to get negative reviews. People realize that, the internet isn't a place just to go and air their grievances. You're going to get more positive reviews than negative, but people expect businesses to respond to a negative review. I actually encourage our customers to respond to every review. Say thank you to the positive ones, and obviously respond to the negative ones. The important thing to know about any review, especially a negative review, is that people can edit and update their reviews. If I give you a negative review today, I can come back and edit it and change it to a positive review if you were able to fix the situation. So what can you do? Reviews are important for financial institutions. Back in 2017, 13% of consumers said they were likely to leave a review after a positive experience at a bank. Today, they say it's 19%. I definitely do not see it happening at that rate. But if they are likely to leave a review, you can put the odds in your favor by inviting members and customers that have positive experiences to leave reviews by sending them an email or a text message after they conduct business with you. Remember those business citation management tools that I talked about that can, obviously synchronize all of your information across those websites, those business listing sites? The good tools also include review management tools. The good ones will let you send invitations out right from those tools to have people send reviews to you or to Google. Start doing that. Those positive reviews will, again, improve those local search results. So now back to Amazon and Amazon Alexa and voice search. So voice search is huge, and it's just supposed to get bigger and bigger. 50% of people use voice search to research products. 40% of adults use voice search at least once a day. 25% of 16 to 24-year-olds use voice search on mobile. I think it's higher than that. 42% believe in the increasing importance of voice-activated devices. I think it's higher than that. And 50% of all queries were expected to be voice searched by this year already. I don't think it's quite that high. But the fact of the matter is that voice is becoming more and more important. And your websites are being indexed for voice search. They're probably just not built for it, is the problem. And you want those millennials, right? And the Gen Z people that we talked about earlier. So millennials, and I don't have information, unfortunately, on Gen Z. I couldn't find it. But they're the ones that I think are using. They're the most prolific digital assistant users. You can see how those numbers grew through 2019. I think they're just going to be higher and higher in 2020 and beyond. And this is what they're doing. Look at the top line for ask a question. Obviously, they're using voice and speakers to stream music, but ask a question and check the weather is, I think, another obvious one. Ask a question is huge. They're asking their smart speakers questions. So what if they were asking questions about banking and getting answers? And how can you leverage that? And you can. So how do you get ready for voice? Well, you build website content and you build lots of it. Because voice searches ask questions. They ask who, what, when, where, why questions. Things like you see here. What is a money market account? Who can help me get a mortgage? When will my car loan be approved? Where is the nearest fee-free ATM? How can I avoid bank fees? Lots and lots of different questions. I mean, literally thousands of questions you can come up with and then write answers for them in blog posts, web page content, and on and on. When you look at these questions, the whens and the whos are the questions where people are closer to actually making a decision than the what's, the where's, and the how's. Target long-tail keywords. Long-tail keywords are different than the regular keywords that your websites were probably built with, and with the intention of optimizing for search. So don't focus just on auto loan. Focus on phrases like get the best auto loan or fastest car loan approval, because when people are searching using a regular search engine, a text search, they're searching typically for 1 to 3 words. But when they're searching by voice, they're searching in full sentences. They're talking. It's a conversation with an Amazon Alexa or a Google Voice Assistant. They're asking a full question, and that's where the long tail keyword comes into play. So when you look at your SEO reports and your list of keywords, make sure that there's some long tail keywords on there, or ask the people that you're working with to develop separate lists of these long tail keywords. And then make sure that some of the content that you're developing is really targeting those long tail keywords. And remember what I said earlier in the presentation with Amazon Alexa in particular, and the fact that Amazon and Google don't play well together. We're optimizing all of our websites today for Google because Google's the dominant search engine. But if people are using Amazon Alexa, and Amazon Alexa is using the Bing search engine, where's your website being optimized on Bing, especially for these long tail keywords? So you need to start paying attention to that as well. And unfortunately, we're not, right? We don't have time for everything, but you need to start paying attention to that. Just so you know that we are in development of a multi-platform lead generating knowledge base that will provide account holders with detailed product and service information for you via Amazon Alexa, online chatbot, and web search. So we're working on something, and we're excited about it. Key Amazon takeaways: you can never have enough data. You guys have a ton of information on your customers and members, which is awesome. So invest in ways to understand and use it. That's where you're falling short, I think. Online reviews are extremely influential. Invite happy members to leave reviews on Google and Facebook. Facebook, by the way, doesn't have reviews anymore, so I should have updated this slide. They've given up. Google and Amazon have outdone them. Voice search is the next game changer. Get ahead of your competitors by preparing for it. So we'll spend the last few minutes on Facebook. Facebook marketing for business. So Facebook has 2.45 billion users every day. And in the US, there's 189 million people that use Facebook every day. So obviously that pales in comparison to the 2.45 billion number, but that's 91 million more than the 98 million viewers that tuned into the 2019 Super Bowl. I don't have the 2020 Super Bowl numbers yet. And you don't need a Super Bowl ad budget to get into the game. So there's still 189 million people using Facebook every day. But you need good content, high quality content, which takes time and money to develop. So the 80-20 rule is that 80% of your posts should inform, educate, and entertain, and 20% of your posts can promote your brand. But make sure to publish content that will generate likes, shares, and comments. Always include a photo. Video is even better. Post in the afternoon because that's when you get more engagement. And be social. Respond to comments and questions that you get. Increasing your organic reach. Great posts go viral, but in reality, there's a very slim chance of that happening. Facebook will show your posts to more people if they inspire users to interact. So content that gets people commenting in particular will actually see a major boost in organic reach. Go live. Live videos actually do tremendously well. Users spend 3 times longer watching live video streams than watching recorded videos. And never resort to engagement baiting. Don't ask people to like a post, tag a post, share a post, comment on a post. You can't ask for that. Facebook will actually penalize your entire page and not just a single post if they see you doing that. Facebook, I have got a question that came in. Our Facebook giveaways contests considered engagement baiting. Facebook contests and giveaways are not, as long as you don't require people to like a page or a post or tag a post or share a post to enter the contest. If those are required to enter the contest, then they are considered engagement baiting. So look at sites like WooBox. is one. There's a few, but I like the WooBox platform in particular. Those are contest platforms that are really low cost, that enable you to have contests running both on social media and on your website without running the risk of engagement baiting. What types of penalties would Facebook place on a page for engagement baiting? They just won't share your content. So, I mean, the organic reach of a Facebook page, of a Facebook post, is pathetically low. Like, I mean, they deliver your post to maybe 2 or 3% of your followers. They'll even send it to even less than that. So the penalty would be that you're just going to have to basically send ads or boost all of your posts to deliver it. Facebook isn't free. So everybody thinks, I guess, that Facebook is free or essentially free other than the time it takes for you to develop content. It's not, right? Facebook earns their, Mark Zuckerberg earns all of his money from Facebook advertising. Facebook reported over $17 billion in ad revenue in the third quarter of 2019 alone. So to increase your reach, you're going to need to boost your posts or do some kind of form of advertising. I get accused all the time of, saying that a Facebook post is or boosting a post is not good. It's, I guess, an easy form of Facebook advertising. I'm not going to get into a debate about whether it's the best form of Facebook advertising or not. It's easy. Facebook does have specific limitations, however, on financial institutions. So any ads for a loan-related post or insurance will have limitations on the audience criteria that you can specify, and that's implemented to prevent discrimination. So you can't target audiences based on age, gender, zip code, any saved audiences or lookalike audiences like we could do in the past. And you can't advertise to an area smaller than a 15-mile radius. So for small banks and credit unions, that's a problem. A lot of interests are also no longer available to special ad categories advertisers. So you have to get creative. As an example, I used to target a lot to people interested or in entrepreneurship, but I can't do that anymore. Or excuse me, I can target people interested in entrepreneurship. I used to be able to target specifically small business owners. I can no longer target small business owners, but I can target people interested in entrepreneurship. So you just have to get creative with those interest categories. But essentially now you're going to be targeting a broader audience than you were able to before. Facebook does allow retargeting. So where we talked about retargeting on Google, Facebook lets you retarget it as well. Ads will appear on Facebook and Instagram and in lots of apps, which is good. So Facebook takeaways: Facebook isn't free. Its daily usage is massive and the investment is worth it. Success on Facebook is about publishing good content that benefits your followers. And Facebook is an ad platform, so take advantage of its targeting capabilities and definitely try retargeting. And that's what I have for you. Question came in about creating fields of membership that are geographically based. Would they be at a huge disadvantage than because of the special ad criteria? I wouldn't say they're at a disadvantage. You can't target specifically on zip code. You can target more regionally, like I said, like a 15-mile radius. You can still do other targeting, including uploading lists of, members and targeting those members specifically. There's other targeting opportunities that you still have. And that's only for loan campaigns that Facebook has those limitations in place. So campaigns for deposit accounts don't have those limitations. I am available, obviously offline. Feel free to call or email me with questions. And I will stay on the line as well for other questions, but I definitely want to thank you for your time this afternoon. I definitely appreciate you guys sitting in on the webinar today. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you very much.